Okay, so when we're doing this drawing, I'd like you to be using a B pencil, 6B, 2B, 3B, somewhere in there. If you don't have a B pencil, just a regular number 2 pencil will work also. So in your drawing pad, I don't want you to do this on a full sheet. It'll take too long. So take just a regular sheet of printer paper and fold it in half, and then trace that onto the first page of your sketch pad, your drawing pad. You could also use your ruler to create a box like this if you want. Okay, so we're going to start by just making some curved lines that run through this area. I'd like you to do maybe 8-ish, and they should just kind of curve from one side to the other, kind of waving closer and farther away from each other. Go from the top to the left side for a few of them, maybe the corner, near the corner, then the right side down to the corner or the bottom. Don't just run the lines straight from the top to the bottom or side to side. Have them go from a top to a side. So somewhere around 10, 9 lines will work. Now pick a starting point, and you're going to start curving lines going across it, either curving up or curving down. And then continue making curved lines next to each other. They should be fairly close together. Don't go farther than a pencil width. Don't make them wider than a pencil width. Now think about the degree of curve and how that will affect the way it looks. If you have a sharper degree of curve, it's going to end up making this area look sharper. And what happens if you gradually flatten that line, or even then start curving in the other direction? What does that do to the way it appears? For me, it looks like that area bends now. Right where the lines change direction, it looks like it bends. Now next to it, you're going to start curving lines in the other direction. Try to keep them the same distance apart. And here, kind of vary where the curve is on the shape, maybe closer to the edge. By the time it starts reaching the far side edge, you can even have the line going in almost a horizontal direction. But as you start to create these curved lines, think about changing where you see the curve, but it should be done very gradually. As you move from one line to the next, only make it change a little bit at a time. And here again, I'm going to experiment with gradually flattening the line around in the same spot, and then start gradually curving it in the other direction. What does that do to the appearance of this area? Again, it kind of looks like it's bent, but now it looks like it's bent in the other direction. Experiment again with where you are curving the line, and keep them fairly close together. In the next area, again, think about curving the line opposite of the way it was curved in the area next to it. What happens if we put a little wave in our curve? Not all at once, but gradually start to create a little bit of a wave. What I mean by that is a little wiggle in the middle of the line. Like this. Again, I don't want to do it too immediate. I want it to be a gradual change to this little wiggle. What does that do to the area? How does it make it appear? And for me, it looks almost like there's a wrinkle in it now. Experiment with flattening the line out, curving it in the other direction. You don't have to do that. I'd experiment with it maybe at least once. Keep them close together. Keep your curves consistent from one to the next one. If you want to change the way it looks, you should change it gradually. On this next one, because I get toward the end of it, I'm going to try a wiggle like that, but this time I might try it more towards the center of the shape instead of the edge of the shape. And I'll show you what I mean by that when I get to that point. Here again, I'm experimenting with where I'm curving the line. So the curve is occurring more towards the top of this area. And as I get to the right edge or the bottom edge, it's starting to straighten out a little bit. Here I think I'll start experimenting with that wiggle that I was talking about. And for me, it starts to give the impression that there's a dent on that shape. So yeah, I think that looks like a little bit of a dent. Look what happens when you have the curves go in the same direction as opposed to going in opposite directions. What does that do to the appearance? The closer your curving lines are to each other, kind of the more detail it gives the drawing. if you're going to do kind of the squiggle lines like I did in the area before this that kind of looked like a dent, don't do that too often. Maybe just once in the drawing. So the curved lines kind of give the impression of 3 dimensions. The more dramatic the curve, the more 3-dimensional it looks. So if you were to not have much curve to your line, it might give the impression of a much flatter surface. And a more dramatic curve, like I said, gives the impression of a more prominent 3-dimensional area. To illustrate what I'm talking about, I'm going to do this next area with just kind of flat, straight lines. So you can see the impact that a more dramatic curve has on the area. You can see how flat this area looks in comparison to the other areas. So if you look at this pencil and you see the white line on the back of it, look at the direction it's curved around the pencil. And when you change the direction of the pencil, notice you kind of change the direction of that white line. The pencil is just flat. That line appears straight, which is why this area that I made the flat lines on looks so flat. It just looks like you're looking straight at it. It doesn't appear to be coming towards you or away from you. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish up these last few spots. We will call this drawing complete.